Okay, welcome to Monday Night Sessions at Studio 1.1D in downtown Dover, New Hampshire. Each week, we ask a musician, a local musician, some interview questions, and then we do a live set. So, with no further ado, this is the Starbourne.
Hi.
So, the Starbourne has been hanging out with Fly Rock Records bands now, since we started, essentially, and has been a big part of Studio 1.1D nights at local establishments, where we offer up free recording time for the amount of people that they bring to the venue.
Absolutely.
And it's been a hell of a time.
It's been a good time. I've had a lot of fun. Definitely, it's been this last year has been a blast, and we've had some good times. So recording, playing shows, playing out, going out to Boston, just having a great time.
We've been doing it up.
We've been doing it up. It's been great.
So thank you for all your support
Yeah.
as well.
Thank you, Jay. Awesome.
You've been a big part of it.
Thank you.
Right. So, questions that I have for the Starbourne are as follows. Number one, why do you go by the Starbourne and not Daniel Paul O'Brien?
Well, it all started back when I was in high school. I was hanging around Omar from the If in Life and Josh from the If in Life, and we're messing around and talking and stuff. We playing music, and Omar had this concept that I needed to go out by a name, an actual name, instead of Dan O'Brien, because I was playing shows back then, and the whole thing came out where I was like, Omar, what am I going to use for a name? And he was like, well, why don't you call yourself like Starbourne Noah or something like that, or Starbourne or something. And I was like, okay, we'll do it. So we played a show like 2 days later, and I went under that joke name, and it stuck. And eventually, Omar and Josh, they ended up, starting the If in Life and all that, and I kept going with it. And the name kind of stuck, but I kept it because of the fact that I felt like it was better to go under something. You get more recognized if you look like you're a band rather than just being a solo musician. And when I went under as my own name, I would end up playing shows with like 15 singer-songwriters, and it ended up kind of being a pain in the butt to deal with after a while. So starting a name helped me get on different shows, I kind of got a better reputation by having the name. So
I think that was a good decision.
Yeah.
The Starbourne definitely has like an air of something bigger than just a singer-songwriter.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it is, and I'm not trying to sound conceited in any way, shape, or form. I think my music tells a different story than a typical singer-songwriter would. I do still play shows with singer-songwriters. I'm not above that, but there is a difference in my music than other people who just write songs. I try to go for something a little more. So
great.
Yeah.
Number two, you have a song called Sharks, Tidal Waves, and Coffins. How do you come up with a name like that?
Well, a lot of my songs have different names to them. Some of them are pretty typical, but some of them have different names. The name Sharks, Tidal Waves, and Coffins came from a reoccurring dream I've been having since I was 10 years old, of mixed with sharks, tidal waves, and coffins. And every dream I have is about there's a coffin somewhere in there. Sometimes it's me surfing on a coffin on a giant tidal wave, and there's a shark in there. And that's kind of where these names come up with. A lot of my songs are written about dreams or weird experiences, and that's kind of where it comes from. Even though the song itself, when I wrote it, I didn't know the song was going to play out into real life situations. It just kind of fit together. So I was like, this would be a perfect name for a song. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
I think that if I woke up from a dream where I was surfing on a coffin, on a giant tidal wave with a shark chasing me, that my next day would be one of those days that I just kind of felt more alive.
Oh yeah, it definitely changes you in a weird way. It's what inspires a lot of the music too. So it's really cool. I'm a big fan of it.
I agree. So along the same sort of lines as what we were just talking about, what inspires your music?
What inspires the music? A lot of times what inspires my music is not necessarily, a lot of people get inspired to write songs about life. Most of my friends, they write songs about breaking up with girls or jobs they hate, the government. that does play a role in it. But a lot of things that inspire my music are things I think about, things that you can't normally do, like flying or a wizard casting a magical spell, tripped out kind of things. Most of the time, I think about it when I'm at work to try to escape, the corporate society, the corporate job that I work at. But a lot of times, it comes out of having an imagination for things, much like Sharks, Tidal Waves, and Coffins, or like Summer of '05 kind of came from that too. Not all this stuff really happens, but you can kind of pretend that it would happen, and I think that's where it gets lost. It's not very reality based, and so things that inspire me are more or less like movies that I've seen, or things I've watched on TV, or books I've read.
What about musicians?
Musicians that inspire. Okay, so like Bob Dylan, it was a big one. He man, some of the stuff he sang about, I don't even know if he knew what he was talking about. Johnny Cash was another one of them. He never went to jail, but he made everyone believe that he did go to jail. Like, he spent time in prison. He spent hard time, and he did like a night in lockdown for being drunk or getting arrested or something like that.
Haven't we all?
Yeah, haven't we all, right? Yeah, haven't we all got picked up by the drunk police? But no, I mean it's stuff like that, and then it goes even further. Some of my favorite bands growing up were always like bands like Iron Maiden and stuff that just like I don't know what they were singing about. It just had really good riffs, and that really more or less inspires the music. I mean, not saying Iron Maiden is my favorite band, but a lot of metal, hardcore music was a big one. Even down to like rap music and stuff. Was from pretty much a lot of stuff that was never really mainstream was always my big inspiration. So anything that's kind of out there.
Nice. So just sort of like laying in bed after a hard night of work.
Yeah.
Got your headphones on, or you're listening through your computer.
Yeah.
Just kind of zoning out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And even too. I mean, I still touch into the reality. I mean, some of my songs too just are blatantly like, this sucks. This is a day. If I had a hard day at work, sometimes it's just like I need to like yell at my boss through my songs or something like that. Or
Sure.
Hopefully my boss isn't watching this. But
Understand.
we'll see if I have a job later on.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so this is a fun question that I ask to everybody.
All right.
Now, we're all local musicians,
Yep.
and our level of success can be measured in many different forms.
Yep.
So let's not say when was your most successful time as a musician. When was your most happiest time as a musician?
The happiest time as being a musician. Well, and honestly, this last year has been really awesome. We've done a lot of cool things. I think the happiest time as a musician was the year after I graduated from high school. And
You started a record label.
I started a record label. Yeah.
Which one was it?
It's called Death Before Dishes Records.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was the best time because that year I decided, before I hadn't gone to college yet, I decided that I was going to take a year off from college, and I had no idea what I was going to do. And I was working a dishwashing job, and it sucked like most jobs do. And but I was on the side. I really had nothing else going on, so I decided to start putting on shows. And along with putting on shows, I also started freelance dishwashing. So I was going to start a freelance dishwashing company, and I didn't really know what to call it. And I also wanted to start a production company. Matt Hobbs and I, we were putting on a show, and this kid came up with this name called Death Before Dishes, because me and him both washed dishes at the time. And the happiest time I can ever remember was when I was doing that, because we didn't think it was going to turn into anything, and we were just kids messing around. And it turned into something more. We actually, we put out a few bands. We played some awesome shows. When I was 19, I never thought I would do anything like that. Playing shows in the next town over was good enough. The fact that we were getting to go to Portland and getting to go to Boston and doing stuff like that, it was really a dream come true. And we had a lot of fun, and we did a lot of cool stuff back then too. When you're young. So that was probably the happiest time. But the best part about that was the connections and the friends I made. And a lot of those friends are with Fly Rock Records now too, and that's kind of why I'm around here and doing what I'm doing around here, because it's that same ability to want to have those connections is why we do what we do,
Sure.
Because that's what really measures success to me is not necessarily the fact that you get people come up to me and be like, "Oh, I love your music," and that's cool too. People loving your music, people liking it, you know, people buying records, you know, even getting paid after shows. That's always a nice thing. But the best thing about it is the connections you make, the people you make, the people you get. You know, that's something that really lasts in my mind.
Cool.
So,
Right on.
yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Jake.
This ends the interview portion of Monday night sessions down at Studio 11D.
Awesome.
We have Dan O'Brien with us this evening, and he's going to play 3 songs for us. And I'm going to check the battery life in the camera and tune up.
Tune up.